ladies. So today we have in a special session based on the work by Natasha Callestremé, French woman, scientific journalist. She's done many documentaries for the TV on shamanism and environment and all kinds of beautiful things. And I'm going to make it short, but in her personal journey, she came to a point where she felt that she was stopping everything, that there was a blockage, and which was an illusion. She just needed to stop everything she was doing in order to connect with herself and try different tools she had discovered through her documentaries with the shamanism and other research she has done. And because she's a scientific journalist, also shamanic things, she wanted to have the scientific information behind every, rituals and healing processes. So she got a lot of knowledge, and she applied it for herself. She tried different, all of them, and she realized which ones were working or not. And in doing so, she came up with a whole process of 22 protocols that cover all our aspects when we want to heal. And the first protocol is about discovering ourselves, discovering our 5 fundamental wounds, which are, so here's what we're going to do before we start. I'm going to name them. The first one is rejection. Then we have abandonment. And sometimes it can be like very subtle. You feel like it's different, very subtle differences. But because I'm going to go through all the aspects of each one of the wounds, you will be able to click and maybe recognize yourself, one more than the other one. The third one is injustice. The fourth one is betrayal. And the fifth one is humiliation. Okay, so those are the 5 fundamental wounds. And this work was first put together by, this part of the work was put together by Louise Bourdeau, who's from Canada, French-Canadian. And she's been working with those wounds for many, many years. What happened with Natasha is that based on that information, she developed all the protocols to take care of the situation and to be able to heal. So there's a lot of tools to heal those wounds, to release those wounds. And that's what's exciting. So for this session, I'd like you, I think would be great for you to have somewhere where you can take notes. And as I go through each one of the wounds, you can maybe just, like when you recognize yourself, like in rejection, I'm going to name different things, the physical, the emotional, the response, or all kinds of aspects. And every time you recognize yourself, you can put an R on your paper. And then we'll go to the next one and to the next one. So then you can see which one is stronger, which one is second one, and, kind of have an idea of where you are at. Louise Bourdeau says that we all have more or less the 4 first wounds. And the humiliation is not everybody, but we'll see what you get. So we'll go through that, and also I will give you tips, not the healing, not the whole healing, because it would take hours, but I will give you tips to deal with your wound, how to handle it, okay, for yourself, for the people around. Okay, so let's start by, I'm gonna wait for Tina to be present, since she's on a phone call. And let's get grounded here. Let's get grounded. So feel your feet on the floor and listen to your breath for a minute to come back into your body and be present here. Feel your alignment with your higher self. Imagine that you have a star over your head and you're inhaling from that star into your heart. And also you're inhaling through your first chakra from Mother Earth into your heart. And I am going to invite light beings to be present for this session, like archangels, the appropriate archangels, the appropriate ascended masters. I want to invite the mother energy and the father energies, which personally I see as Mary and Jesus. And I want to invite the energy of Mary Magdalene, who's been working a lot to help us in these times of transitions. And I want to invite them all to protect us during this process and hold space for us. And I'm very grateful for all of them. And if you have your guides, you want to invite your guides, please do so. Okay, so before we go into the 5 wounds, I want just to tell you or remind you, because maybe you know already, that we are made out of 0.0001% of materia, and the rest is energy with information. Okay, the rest, like the quantum physics explains that it's energy with information. So the information we have, each one of us, we have an energy field, which is 99.9999% of who we really are is energy that has a specific vibration that translates into frequencies, okay? And that depends on the information we have. So what happens is that we come to this world, this dimension, we incarnate, and we choose for this incarnation to work on certain, learning certain things. And that's why we choose these specific parents and these specific situations. And we come with a plan. This is what we're going to work on in this life. This is what we're going to learn about in this lifetime. It's like going to school, okay? This is the schedule, the whatever, I don't know what you call it in English, but for this lifetime, this is what I'm going to be working on. So these things have a frequency that is in our energy field, and that is going to be attracting to our lives the situations and the people to give us the opportunity to learn what we came to learn. And in my experience, this is a parenthesis, in my experience as a doula, when I was in the room and the baby was going to be born, I could feel in the whole room the soul, the spirit of the being coming into incarnation. It was gigantic, literally. I mean, the whole room was his energy, basically. And I could sense that information. Now I call it information. At the time I was like, oh my God, I know what he's going to go through or she's going to go through in this lifetime, you know, because I could feel it in the air. And then when we take the first breath, inhale, that's when we come into the body, the soul, the part of us, because it's not all of us coming into the body. It's the part of us that is going to be working. The rest of us is outside, is around. It's like that little voice that tells you, hey, don't do that. Don't go there. Go here. Do that. That little voice that we hear sometimes, we listen to sometimes, we don't listen to sometimes. That's what we call a higher self. And that's kind of like protecting us, you know, guiding us if we listen to. And then we have the part of us that is here to learn. And usually we are disconnected because that's how we can get into this situation and challenges and learn. So that's the one part of the thing. So nowadays, there's a new science called the epigenetics. Because you know how they used to say that we depend on the genes we get from our parents. And I remember when my mother died of cancer, the doctor literally turned to me and said, oh, you're next. Because you're her daughter, you're going to die the same way. I'm like, I mean, this is crazy. But that was the belief until quantum physics and people like Bruce Lipton started like talking about what's really happening, which is the genes are there, but the genes are affected by the environment. The genes are affected by your thoughts. And usually what we inherited is not the bad gene, is the eating the wrong food like our parents did, or having the same thoughts patterns, repeating, you know, ways, belief systems and all of that. And because if you have, like Bruce Lipton explained, if you have negative thoughts, the cells, they go like, you know, like raisins. No, they shut down, they wrinkle. So that's what creates the situation. It's not that we are going to have cancer because your mother had cancer. No, if you have the same attitude in life, if you eat the same way, if you have the same belief system, etc., 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 yes, you're creating the same energy and you're going to affect your genes the same way, but you don't need to do that. And part of the work of this with Natasha is that, okay, you're going to recognize your wants, which is what we're going to do today, but also you're going to be able to discover what you inherited as belief systems, as patterns. And there's a protocol where you give those beliefs back to whoever it belongs to. Oh, that's my mother's thought. That's my mother belief system. Those are my mother emotions. Thank you very much. I give it back to you. There's a specific protocol. So one of the wonderful things about this process is that you heal the lineage of your family. You're doing this for yourself, but in doing so, you're going to stop a process that has been going down your lineage until somebody takes care of it. And then like your children and grandchildren won't have to deal with that, you know? And usually we are attracted to do this work because one of the things that we chose to do in this lifetime is to do this, have this role in the family. I'm going to be the one who is releasing all those stories from families. So it doesn't, I'm going to heal all of that, so it doesn't go down the line anymore. So when we are attracted to this kind of work, is because we chose to do this work for the family. And I know in my family, I've been doing that since I was a child. And I'm very excited to have the tools. For me, what's exciting is to discover ways to do it, because I really, really want my kids to have to do something else with their life, not dealing with healings and stories and stuff. So that's that. And then, so now we're going to start going through which is the first protocol. And we're going to go through the 5 wands. Okay. And also there's an aspect of those wands is like everybody can have the same situation in life, and the way they're going to perceive it is going to be completely different. So this is how we perceive our situations in life, our experiences in life, okay? So the first wand that everybody has for sure, more or less, is the wand of rejection. And the wand of rejection starts with the beginning of life, with conception, with the moment when the mother discovered, oh, I'm pregnant. Oh my God, I'm pregnant. I'm not ready for this. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, that doesn't mean that she doesn't love you, that she's not excited about you coming to the world. It just means like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, we all have that moment when we discover that we are pregnant. How am I going to say it? Who am I going to, what am I going to do? That was not, you know, all kinds of things. The baby inside can feel it as a rejection. Oh my God, I better not exist. Okay. So this rejection wound is related to the mother mainly. And it makes sense because she's the one who's pregnant and discovering first that she's pregnant. So the baby may not be desired. The pregnancy can be a surprise, and that's it. And sometimes it's also more about the sex. I want a girl, I want a girl. And oh my God, I'm inside the womb and she's saying she wants a girl and I'm a boy. You know, I better disappear. It's like that feeling of I better not exist. That's the big feeling, okay? It's not what I'm doing, it's the fact that I'm being, that I'm existing. So I better disappear. So what happens in life when you have that very strong is that your response to situations is to run away. I have obviously that rejection thing, and I remember my son telling me once, Mom, you're never going to be in a couple or in a relationship. And I said, why? He said, as soon as there is a problem, you run away. And I was like, oh my God. So it's about running away. There's a problem, I'm running away. Another attitude is the people that are spaced out, autistic, spaced out. It's another typical thing with rejection, the wand of rejection. Another one, obviously, is when people start drinking, like they run away from life with, you know, being addicted with drugs or with alcohol or even smoking like all the time. It's always running away from situations and from relations. Okay. So these people tend to feel better when they are alone. Because when they are alone, they can be themselves. or also they feel like, oh, they don't belong, they're different. Okay, so the physically how it shows up, one thing is asymmetry. When you have asymmetric faces, or asymmetric in general in your physical, I mean, like a long torso and short legs, or very long legs and a short torso, asymmetry, okay? Also, you are thin. It's like the typical teenager who's, you know, kind of thin and skinny. The diaphragm is super contracted. The solar plexus is super contracted. So you tend to be like the typical teenager, you know, where the chest goes in. And yes. And a lot of these people also have like a mask around the eyes, you know, people that have always like dark under the eyes, things like that. Okay, so that's the physical part. And then the main emotion is fear. So who hasn't had fear? Like fear, fear is part of everybody's life. Now, when it's really strong, it's, you know, panic attacks. Panic attacks is what the main, I mean, fear is the main emotion. Also, you can have allergies, anorexia. You can be somebody with a strong tendency to depression and suicide. And then also another thing that is affected is the skin. And also you can have a tendency to diarrhea. Okay, so those, we're going to see which organs also and how to heal and what the organs are telling you about your situation. I mean, it's fascinating, all the information we can get and so much we can do. So how to help yourself if you have rejection? So number one is to find your place in life. Like when we do the dream building, this is a way to find your place in life. You know, because we had this idea that we should not be here, we don't belong. So it's about finding ways to find your place in life. It's to know that if you are here, there's a reason. You have a role to play in this life. There's a higher power, and these decisions were made, and your soul is incarnating for a reason. You have a place in this world. Okay, so it's good to start with little things in life, and it's also very important to listen to yourself, like to acknowledge your right to be. Okay, so like ask yourself, what do I feel like doing? What do I feel like having? What do I like about myself? What's important for me? And of course, these are little tips for, you know, to start with, okay? And observe yourself and remember to tell yourself, I mean, you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love myself, I love you. I love you. I am loved. And there is a sentence that we got in the weekend with Morrison, the weekend we did, where there is a statement that I don't remember right now, but I'm stopping these podcasts with a very strong statement that I am a daughter of God and I have a right to be and to express myself. And I don't remember the exact words, but this is what it is about, okay? I have a divine right to be here now. I have a place in this world. I came here for something specific, and it's my passion. And learn to express yourself. So that's for yourself. Like if somebody's hurting you, pushing your button, to be able to say, right, I have a wound of rejection, and what you're doing or saying right now, it's pushing that button and it's really hurting. Okay, so that's on one side. And then also observe yourself. How do you reject others? What are the excuses you find to push people away to be alone? Because it's so much easier to be alone. You don't have to deal with the others, right? So what do you do? What excuses you find? And how can you not, usually those things happen with people that have the same, because we attract each other. So you reject somebody, and probably that somebody has the same wound. So, it's like how we are hurt and how we repeat the thing, you throw the ball back. So check, what are you rejecting and who are you rejecting? Of course, you can reject person that is being abusive and disrespectful and, all of that. And, express your feelings. Thank you, Kat. Okay, so, and be gentle, mostly. Be gentle, go little step by little step, and being always the observer, okay? So that's a couple of little, for instance, if you have an allergy is, like the question is, who am I allergic to? It's not the what, it's the who. Who am I allergic to? That's the click. Okay. Okay, so how am I running away, or how am I pushing others away? Which is the two sides of the same coin in the end, because there's always two sides for one coin, right? Okay, so that's for rejection for now. And maybe I'll come back to that with other, in the breathing also. If you suffer from rejection, your diaphragms are contracted. And the main one is at the level of the plexus, the solar plexus, of course. But that's also can be in your jaw. That's another diaphragm, or in your pelvic floor. So those can be helped with breathing. And I'm going to do a series of breathing classes starting in January, because that helps with like everything. Okay, so ask yourself, when you are under pressure, when you are having strong emotion, how am I breathing right now? Where am I breathing? Okay, so going back to coherence, inner peace. If you have the Healy, you can put the coherence program. And but the breathing, check always your breathing with each one of those. Okay, so this is for the first one. Let's go into abandonment. The abandonment can happen from the beginning, I mean, from birth on, okay? All these things are happening, and all this foundation is created in the first 7 years plus the time we spend in the womb, okay? So for this one is more after you are born, where you can feel the abandonment for 100 things. It is said that this is more related to the opposite sex, and the people that suffer from abandonment, they cannot be alone. They need to be in a relation all the time. They are dependent. The response to life is to be dependent on others, because that's a way not to be alone. And even though it sounds like contradiction, you can have both rejection and abandonment, because in a way you can not be by yourself, you are going to depend on others, but at the same time you feel better when you're alone. I mean, we can have combinations, okay? But right now I'm going to talk about the abandonment. And of course, you are, you want to be in a relationship all the time. You have a hard time doing things on your own. Oh, I want to do this, but I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to do it by myself. Even like going on a trip. Oh, I'd love to go on a trip, but I'm not going to do it by myself. I have a project, but I need to find somebody to do it with me. These kind of things. So this happens between 0 and 3 years old. It can be triggered also because after you had a baby brother or sister. That happens a lot. The baby after you gets all the attention because it's a baby, and you feel the abandonment. Okay. So there's also can be because your mother or your father were always absent, you know, they went to work or they had other things more important to do than being with you. And you are a person that is very nice, very affective, very warm, because you want people to be with you. You want people to like you, right? So physically, the tendency are people that have migraines, diabetes, that's the whole country, pain in your back, bulimia, compulsive comportments, being compulsive. Physically, you like tonus. You tend to be, you know, to have your, I'm translating from French, that's why. Your back is not straight, you know, you tend to be like, you know, fold forward. And usually you have a sad look in your eyes. People that look like they are sad. And so that's physical, okay? So you're looking always for the attention of others. You do things to get the attention of others. And your dream is to have a profession or job or work where you are addressing people, okay? Like you have a TV show or whatever. I mean, it doesn't have to be that. Even to be a coach, even to be a teacher, you know, you're addressing people. You always ask for tips, for help, then you probably are not going to follow them, you know, and say, oh, what could I do? You know, it's a way to attract the attention or to have the attention of somebody. That's it. You know, oh, I'm having this problem. What do you think I should do? Oh my God. Well, why don't you try this and that? Oh, okay, that sounds great. But nothing happens, okay? Because the point is not to have the solution. The point is to have the attention. Okay, so the tips to deal with this. First, of course, like every one of those, the first thing is to acknowledge the want, you know, and know that it's okay. It's okay. You were a baby, you were a little child, you had no idea what to do with the situation. You thought, you know, you had an interpretation of the situation, and you had to figure out what to do about it, how to protect yourself, how to keep on with your life, right? So it's okay. Now we are adults, we're going to be able to change all these impressions and all these, filters. It's like, oh, that's how I perceived what was happening. Like, for instance, this pregnant woman, she went to the supermarket and she was pushing her cart, and at some point she banged into, or somebody banged into her and pushed the cart into her belly, banged her belly with the cart. The fetus inside thought there was a earthquake. His experience was, oh my God, there's an earthquake. Oh my God, life is really dangerous place to be. Oh my God, and that creates a panic. It created a panic attack. The mother, if you are a conscious mother having a conscious pregnancy, you say to your baby, you say, hey, I know that was scary, but honestly, it was nothing. Nothing happened, It must have been scary, shaky for you, but everything is fine, don't worry. But usually that doesn't happen because you are in the belly, you have no communication with anybody around, or your mother or anybody, and you're having experiences. And you're on your own, so you get scared. It's normal. And you have whatever interpretation, and it's big because it's like, oh, this is what life is all about. I'm going to be on my guards all the time, So first accept with compassion that, okay, this was my experience. And with the abandonment issue, again, small little things to do, little tips. See what you love to do and you can do by yourself. Enjoy doing things that you like doing by yourself. Create a project by yourself. Have an idea and make it into something by yourself, just for fun. Make decisions without asking opinions. I feel that this is the way I want to go with it. I feel that this is the way I want and I choose to go, because that's, so because also what happens when you are the dependent, you end up pleasing others and not doing what you want to do. Because of doing what you want to do means that you're going to do it by yourself. Maybe not. But that's the feeling. So, okay, he wants to do that. My husband wants to do that. Okay, I'm going to go with it. How about me? So start with little things. What can I do for me, with me? If you want somebody else, that somebody else is going to be me. I'm going to share with myself this fun project. I'm going to go on a trip with myself, with my favorite music, with my favorite book, to my favorite place. because I'm giving myself. I'm not alone. I'm with myself, you know, and I'm going to decide that by myself in my own time. Okay. Okay, so that's the tips to start like shifting and feeling comfortable about it. And the other side also is becoming the observer of what strategies I create to sabotage myself. And then I'm depending on others. I tried to do this by myself, but it was a disaster. So I knew it was going to be a disaster because I cannot do it by myself. But that's like the mind creating the strategy. So that happens. So, hey, I'm right. My belief is right. Okay, so that's why it's good to start with small steps. Huh? So what strategies do I create to be in this state of dependence? And how and what I'm pleasing, how much am I pleasing others and not myself, doing things that are not pleasing to myself, okay? And because also what happens with that is then, how do you call passive aggressive attitude? You know, you have resentment. I'm always doing everything for you, you know, like that's, you know. So do the things that you want to do, decide for yourself. Okay, so that's for abandonment. Now let's go into injustice. So injustice is related to the same sex, gender as you are. So if you're a woman, it's related probably to your mother. If you're a man, to your father. So the injustice wound is typically the victim. Complaining, complainer, complaining. Always looking at the dark side of the situation is never good enough. Frustration all the time. Having a weak self-esteem. I'm tough to myself. Oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm never going to be able. Oh, I looked horrible today. And trying to, you know, I'm going to go out. Oh, I have to. What am I going to wear? Oh, my, no, this is not good enough. This is not, what, you know, it's like, I don't want others to judge me. So what happens? So there's like a look for perfection. I'm going to do something. It has to be perfect. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. I know of somebody who was like that, who was really good at something. And I said, okay, why don't you learn more about it? You know, develop that. Oh, no, because it's not good enough. That's why you go to you know, you learn, you take classes, so you improve your skill that you have. No, I'm not good enough. I'm like, well, that's the point, to improve. There was no way. It has to be perfect from the beginning. So very, very like self-judging itself all the time. And also he has to be, or she has to be perfect. You know, so I don't have any problems. I'm good. I'm fine. So that person in physically stands straight. I'm impeccable. Oh, I have the perfect makeup and the perfect dress. And I go to the gym. Oh my God, I go to the gym every day. And and they have like the look in their eyes is really alive and shining, and they're very alive, you know. They're like, if you tell them if you try to tell them something, they answer before you finish. You know, that's the way to protect themselves. But they only live through suffering. Like they have the right to live because there is suffering. Like, you know, I have a daughter like that. She's fantastic. She's full of life. She's like super boom, 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 boom. But since she's been on this planet, it's to help others. And then, you know, then she went into the homeless people. It's fantastic. Everything that she's doing is fantastic. But then there's no time for myself. There's no time to enjoy for myself. If I take time to enjoy myself, I feel guilty. So this wound, I forgot to say, happens between the ages of 4 and 6 years old, because the child didn't feel appreciated and valued for what he deserves. And maybe in relation to brothers and sisters also, there was a preference for another brother or sister. So he feels like he's never enough, and he has to do more and be more perfect. He's very clean. He or she is very clean and organized. Everything is perfect. The hygiene, oh my God, I take a shower twice a day and I'm always smelling perfectly well. And I change my clothes 3 times a day and stuff like that, you know, hygiene, hygiene, hygiene. You cannot tell that I'm wrong in anything because I'm being perfect. Okay. So the tips for these people, first of all, is to realize that they are not being fair to themselves. They need to let go of being perfect, because it's in trying to do everything perfect and being perfect and perfection, they can destroy their health. They can neglect their family, you know. So the little steps is, okay, I'm a human being. I'm just a human being. I can make a mistake. And other people also can make mistakes. It's just human. It's okay. Nothing is perfect in this world. And it's okay. And it's even good, because that means we can make it better. You can also realize how sensitive you are, because these people are so hypersensitive. So hypersensitive. And so recognize that their sensitivity, not like put a, you know, a wall there. Oh, I'm perfect. I'm fine. Everything is fine. How are you? I'm perfectly well. Thank you. And you know, like, no, I'm vulnerable. I'm sensitive. Because otherwise you go into a burnout. You end up sick. So also listen to what you like to enjoy. Give time for yourself to enjoy. The other side of it is that because you are perfect, everybody has to be perfect, right? So you always have expectations about situations, about the others, about the people. And you think that other people should guess what you want. Oh, he didn't get it. Or she didn't get it. I'm sorry, I didn't get it, no. Nobody's perfect, and it's fine. Okay? Instead, start looking for what other people's, like what you can be grateful about for other people's. Instead of looking at, oh, they're not perfect, they don't get me, or they don't do the way I want it. How are the others expressing their love for myself in their imperfection? And start being, daring to show your vulnerability, your sensitivity, because vulnerability is a power. To be able to step into your vulnerability is real power. Because to be sensitive is to be able to be compassionate, is to be able to read others, to understand others. Because what happens with the wound of injustice is when sometimes these people, they end up telling you things, but it's like out of the blue, and it's really like a knife. It feels like a knife. Oh, wow, what happened here? So stop trying to be the strong one all the time. Take time to relax, to do things that you enjoy, or to do things that relax. Meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, whatever, but also go on a bike ride or hike, or, things like that. Slow down. There have moments where you do nothing. And every time you feel like complaining about something, see how you can turn it around and say, oh, I'm grateful for this and this reason. Instead of complaining about the situation, oh, this situation, I'm grateful for this part of the situation. This person, instead of complaining about this person, I'm so grateful for this person because blah, blah, blah. Turn complaining to gratitude. And dare to open yourself to others. These people don't speak about themselves or their problem because they don't have any problem. And oftentimes there's people doing this exercise about the 5 wounds, and they find that they don't have any of those wounds. Oh, I don't have that problem. I don't have that. I don't have that. Usually these people belong to this wound of injustice, unless they are absolutely really happy and content, But if they're not, and they're sick, or they're burnt out, or and they feel like they don't have any of those symptoms and problems and wounds, it's probably because they belong to the injustice one. So when also you make a decision, think about all the people involved, think about the people that are going to be affected. And remember that not everybody has the same level of sensitivity. So compassion rather than judgment and disdain. Okay? When you feel like judging somebody or thinking, oh, he's not, he's like, blah. No, compassion. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Oh, by the way, the people that are in the injustice, the way they act in life, either they are very rigid. These people usually are not flexible. They're very rigid. And also the rebellion person can be part of that one. The activist in the street because it's not fair. This is not fair. I'm going in the street because this is not fair. That's probably has that wound. Okay, so the next one is betrayal. So betrayal happens usually between 2 and 4 years, the first time, because then we repeat until we decide to stop repeating and heal the story, right? So betrayal usually happens between 2 and 4 years old, and it's related to the parent of the other sex. So if you're a woman, it would be your father and so on. It's connected with abandonment. Okay, so, and the way we respond to that, to keep going in life, the protection, which what we call the mask here, is we are the controllers. We control everything. We are in charge. So there's no possible betrayal because I'm in charge of everything. So they have a hard time, how do you say, delegating? I mean, letting others do things for them. Of course, you have a hard time trusting somebody else. These people also are always right. And they are giving advice to others, even if the other person is not asking for it. They are choleric. I mean, they get angry easily. They are impulsive. So physically, they are well proportioned. They show that they are strong and powerful. There's a tendency to have a wider pelvis than shoulders, a little bit. The look in their eyes is very intense and very charming. They have no tolerance for other people's problems. They control everything. So they're kind of tough in a relation. Huh? And as a matter of fact, they have a hard time making a commitment in a relation. Like the playboy is often like that, he's handsome and strong and fit, and he has this look in his eyes, and he's charming, and he's impressive and all of that. And also he acts very fast. He responds to situations very fast. And it's also the playboy in the sense that they have difficulties with their sexuality. It's very interesting. I'm just realizing that. Yes, difficulties with their sexuality. They have a lot of, they also have, they want things to be perfect. They want things to be perfect. And, it's like the playboy is going to go out with a woman just because she's absolutely perfectly beautiful, things, that kind of things. They're very exigent. And if you do something wrong, you're out. So there's very difficulty to become intimate, to have intimacy, because this person is protecting herself or himself all the time. So there's no real connection and sharing and intimacy, okay? Because you have to be in control, so you put a stop. So interestingly enough, these people suffer for illnesses like all the illnesses finishes in it, like that's in French, gastritis, tendonitis, rectocolitis, all that kind of illness is related. I don't know why. But it's also like illnesses that are related to losing control, people that cannot hold their bowels, you know, that's a consequence. They're losing the control, you know, because they're holding all the time, and sooner or later they're going to lose the control. So that's how it shows up in the physical. Okay. What else? Yeah. So the little tips to start is, of course, for this one, recognize, you know, recognize yourself in this wound, right? And try to let go of the control in little things first, like, you know, try to ask somebody else to take care of your, I don't know, of your cleaning your house, whatever. I mean, little things. Let somebody else do something for you. One thing. The other thing is, don't be so attached to the ending, to the results. You know, some people, they want to get there. No, enjoy getting there. And accept that things are going to happen that were not part of the plan. This was not planned. I hate surprises. Well, life is about that. You know, it happens all the time. Start trusting in certain aspects with not very important things. Oh, okay, I'm going to leave my whatever, my beautiful jewelry with you. And I know I'm going to get it back because you're my friend and you love me and you're going to take care of my jewelry. You know, little things. Develop, know that you can trust others. And also, always, you know, the other side of the coin. How do you create situations where other people feel betrayed by you? When did you do or not do something that somebody else was counting on you to do? Okay. And of course, start opening yourself, meaning start being vulnerable and open yourself, and there some sharing, some getting closer to intimacy. Listen to somebody else's vulnerability and be okay with it. You know, because again, nobody's perfect. So that's a few things for that one. And last but not least, interesting one is the humiliation. So for this one, the first woman who started working with the 5 wands, she says that not everybody has this one, and that this one is mostly between you and yourself, or you and God. That's her interpretation. This happens for the first time between 1 and 3 years old, and it's related to the mother. So that's when the mother, for some reason, is ashamed to have the baby. So maybe because she had a baby outside of marriage. Maybe because the baby has a problem, or maybe because the baby is ugly. So there's shame coming from the mother in relation to the baby. And shame is what this being is going to feel most of his life. So that's very intense because these people hurt themselves. There's a big tendency to hurt yourself. And these people create limits in their lives. I can only go so far. I can only do that. They're always expecting somebody to put them down, to humiliate them, right? These are the ones who get bullied in school. And also they are afraid of freedom. They're very afraid of freedom because freedom is scary. It's like, what's going to happen, you know? So these people physically are round and they have a wide neck. The body and the face is round, and they have big eyes, big open eyes. And they go slow motion, you know, go slow motion, checking on everything. And also when they feel bad, they go to the food. When they feel good because they did something good, they go to the food. So there's an easy tendency to bulimia. They feel inferior to others. Of course, the mother was ashamed of me. I'm probably less. Obviously, I'm less than anybody else. So they're always taking care of other people, doing everything for others rather than for themselves, because of course they don't deserve, they're not enough. And they do for others, they do for others and do for others, and they end up feeling abused. Yeah, I'm always pleasing, pleasing, pleasing. And what do I get? People ask for more. So here, the tips to start reversing this, of course, is listen to yourself. Listen to your needs. Listen to your needs and take care of them. You are, first is me. Second is me. Third is me. And then, if I have time, I can take care of somebody else. Okay, so this is the last one, Kat. I would have loved to share some, but this is, yeah. So these people also can be the ones who are carrying the world on their shoulders, or their whole family on their shoulders, you know. The problems of the world and the problems of the family and the problems of my friends and everybody's problem. And they feel that they are not respected. So the tip is respect yourself and, you know, like put boundaries, define your boundaries. Ask for what you want or need without feeling that you are being disrespectful or you're bothering somebody. and slowly learn to love and appreciate freedom. Okay, so this is an introduction, and I'm going to stop the recording for now.